Well, nice to meet you guys. I'm Matt.
Stian.
Fredrik.
Nice to meet you all. Let's talk a little bit about the new album. I thought, I don't know if you guys got a chance to read our review that we did on Progulator, but I thought it was fantastic, you know, like really fascinating rhythmic structures, you know, this great jazz feel, but also very aggressive, you know, the way that you kind of combine the saxophone and the guitar for the heavy riffs. You know, it's quite an interesting album, in my opinion. So a couple questions, you know, I wanted to ask you guys. You know, you guys mentioned Yaga Jazzist, Meshuggah, Mars Volta, Frank Zappa as influences. Could you explain maybe how those all come together in your album?
Well, that's a good question, actually. I think our minds as musicians are, you know, we're 6 people in the band, so we're quite a big band in that matter. But right. For me, I'm more based on chords and melodies, and the other guys are more like rhythmical stuff. So
sure,
it's a good combo there, and we all love and have a background from heavier music as well. So
it's probably a bit that we're all making the music together. We're all 6 of us are contributing, and I guess we're bringing something of our own to the table. I'm very influenced by Frank Zappa and that kind of stuff. Stian has the Yaga Jazzist and Alice in Chains and more. Yeah, our bassist is probably the biggest Meshuggah fan I know.
Sure.
And it's kind of spread evenly out, so when we all contribute to the music, it's probably coming from a lot of different places, I guess.
Very cool. So when you guys are working on music, is there like a primary songwriter in the band, or do you guys all kind of write collaboratively?
Yeah, well, it's very democratic, both in the way of who's to decide what and stuff like that, and especially in the songwriting process, where whenever someone has something, we always look at it, and then we got influenced by each other.
Sure.
Usually the songs when the songwriting process starts with someone having an interesting riff or melody or
just a rhythmic sequence.
Yeah, as well. And then we build out from that.
I think we all think a lot about music during the day, whatever we do.
Sure.
So I can have a kind of, I get this rhythmic idea that, if we have this time signature and we divide it like this and we play like, it can be as simple as that, or a melody or a riff, and we just take it from there and maybe combine it with somebody else made a riff that, we can probably fit those two together, and
Very cool.
And also we're like thinking that the one who's most suited for writing, you know, the keyboard parts, obviously is Håkon, the keyboardist,
right.
And well, the singer, me doing the vocals, and drummer doing the drums and stuff like that. So we're like depending on each other to do our own parts, kind of. But of course we always discuss it. And we use a lot of time to do that. And well, I think some of the songs that we have been working on for months and stuff like that. So we never settle down before we're really, really satisfied with the result.
So you guys released your EP, Beginning to Relieve. Was that last year or was that the year before?
It was last year in April, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, yeah, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh, no, it feels like it's a decade since we did it, but time goes on fast.
Indeed. So I'm wondering, you know, the kind of the transition from the EP to full-length album, you know, what were you trying to do on City of the Sun that was maybe different or beyond what you did on your original EP?
It's more beyond the EP than it's different, in my opinion, because the production is really different. So it kind of, yeah, that's maybe the biggest difference. But it's kind of just the evolution of the band. When we released the EP, some of the songs were probably 3 years old, and it was kind of the old material.
Sure.
We had just saved from previous studio sessions, and we wanted to just get it out and, yeah, do a okay production and get those songs out, so we have something to promote the band by, and then kind of the album is our masterpiece. That's all the new stuff. It's all the stuff we've been working on the last 2 years.
It was mostly because when we got our record deal with Charisma, we didn't feel that we had enough material for a full-length album like City of the Sun before at least a year after we'd signed. So we thought, okay, we have around 25 minutes of okay studio material from before for the EP. So we thought we could use that and polish it a bit and doing some new parts and yeah, release the EP only digital to, you know, get some take away some workloads on the album and give ourselves a bit of time and space for working on the album. So it felt it was a both tactical and musically it was yeah, it's a good thing, I think. Yeah.
So my next question for you guys is, maybe you could each tell me a little bit about what's your favorite song on City of the Sun and what you really like about that particular song.
I think Wind Shares is probably what I feel is my favorite song of different reasons. It's a really old song, or at least the composition is from before our second guitarist and our keyboardist even joined the band. It's a really, really old idea that we kind of saved because we felt we're not ready to even play this live. We're not ready to. We want to give this song all it can have, and in the album process, I feel we really catch that. Our producer had a really, when he heard the last sequence melody, he said this is really like Sadness and Regalia kind of stuff. So he wanted to create that kind of feeling around it with a lot of different synth lines going in and out of the melody, and yeah, it was a lot of work creating that song in the studio, which we basically did, and I feel that we really got all. Yeah, it became the song we've always wanted it to be. So, but then again, Oh My Gravity is, yeah, it's very close because it's so versatile and it's changing all the time. And we got all these different parts, and it's really fun to play.
Yeah,
very cool.
For me as well, I also, well, I'm pretty sure it's Wind Shares actually. It has been a song that we have been kind of dreaming of as a collective to be able to play as we wanted, because yeah, it was a bold idea at the time with the, you know, have this polyrhythmic composition, and then we had an idea that, well, okay, we probably should play that backwards when we come after the heavy midsection, and then we basically twist them backwards. All the parts, even the drum parts, is backwards.
Sure.
Not played, but not. It's played backwards, so it's not like changed in the studio. But
right.
So it's
it became a lot of different a lot of different rhythms and a lot of things to keep track of. So we concluded quite fast after we composed the song that we can't play this live yet.
And as well, I think it's the song that has been most composed in that matter.
Yeah.
I remember when I wrote the last section with the chords and with the melody over it, I did that on sheet music paper. So I used quite a long time to do it, and I used, obviously I'm trying to become a scholar musician. I'm studying classical music, classical vocals at the local conservatory. So I used a lot of my theory knowledge on it. So I feel it's probably the work I'm most proud of on the album itself. But still, All My Gravity as well. It's so fun to play. It's a lot of great riffs and great vocal parts, which I really love to sing, and yeah.
And also back to the composition phase of All My Gravity. That was kind of, we knew that we were working on the last song for the album.
Right.
It was kind of, when this is done, we have the whole album. We're ready to go into studio, and yeah, it was a good kind of pressure to have. Kind of fill in the gaps. What do we feel we miss from the album? What do we want to add to the mix, kind of?
Very cool. Now, you guys mentioned, a little bit about playing some of these songs live and whatnot. I know you guys have been able to do a few festivals and stuff. Do you play live regularly, or is it mostly just, festival gigs here and there?
Well, to be honest, Norway is a small country.
Sure.
We're only 5 million inhabitants in the whole of Norway, and it's quite a large country actually. It stretches from Kristiansand in the south to far north. It's almost like it's polar bears in the streets there, but okay, it's not, but still it's very far north, so it's a huge country, and it's really hard to do gigs around.
Right.
It takes a lot of time, even to just go over the mountains to Oslo. That would take us like 7 hours with train, or of course it would be super expensive to travel by plane all the time.
Right.
So unfortunately we haven't played as much as we want around, and of course we also playing progressive jazz rock style. The audience is not really big, but still, we have done a couple of gigs in Oslo, one gig in Trondheim, and that's about it actually. So
yeah, we play more or less regularly here in Bergen, but it's kind of always the same places, and we try to make a little gap between the gigs so we don't kind of bore the audience we got here.
Sure.
But now I guess the main priority, besides making new music, because we kind of aimed for the next album as soon as we were finished with City of the Sun. But yeah, it takes time to make new music, and when you got gigs all the time, you kind of have to practice that. And
right.
So yeah, we're trying to take time to make new music, and we're aiming mostly outside Norway. We could always play in Bergen now and then, but we want to get out to Europe at first, at least. Yeah.
For sure. Very cool. Now, you talked a little bit about starting working on new material. What do you guys envision for your next album?
Now it's a lot of ideas at the moment. We probably got material for more than half of the next album, but it's not really. We're kind of fitting it together now, and I don't know what we have vision. This album turned out even better than we could ever imagine. We were kind of amazed when the master was done and we listened to it. It was like, okay, we've definitely found the right producer for this.
Oh, yeah.
He just filled in all the holes that, all the things that were missing, all the things that were a bit too much of.
Yeah.
He just, he's really straightforward and critical to our work. So, it was a really constructive process. So now we kind of take that with us, aiming for a more composed second album, more like we got a plan from now and till the album is done. And I think we just want to continue the thing that we're doing because it's worked out very well up until now. So if we just stay critical and mix the elements that we're maybe it won't be as if we got criticized for something at City of the Sun, it's been that it's always new riffs, and kind of in that song you probably got material for 6 normal songs that normal bands would make. And of course we'll never aim for that, but maybe it won't be that much material packed into one song. We'll probably take more time with the melodies and with the more improvisation based stuff, and evolve it both in the extreme metal way but also in the jazzy kind of
Very cool.
I think we're just thinking about expanding in all directions, but having perhaps a bit more composed, if that's the correct word to use, but still not be as as with All My Gravity, which is changing like every other second almost. I think we're going more. I think actually Winches could be a good picture of what the direction we want to go.
Okay.
A more concrete forms of the songs.
Yeah.
But still we won't take away the typical Seven Impale thing with being a bit crazy here and there. It's what we are, and we should not go away from it, but still probably trying to be a bit more and we've learned a lot, and I think we'll try to take the best from this and kind of work with what we've got, because it's worked out really well this far.
I'd like to kind of wrap up with a couple sort of random questions. My first one is, are there any like funny stories from the history of the band that you want to share?
The first time that we played outside of Bergen is probably the best. Because, as we explained, Norway's, it's very big and it's very few people. So it's kind of, we were playing in the districts outside Bergen, and kind of, it should be about 1.5 to 2 hours to drive with a ferry over across the. There's a lot of fjords and kind of the long way around, or you take the ferry across the fjord. We kind of combined that because we aimed for the wrong ferry stop. So we drove around. It probably took 4 or 5 hours. Then we took the ferry back towards Bergen. We started driving basically back home until we realized that, oh fuck, we got to get back on that same ferry and take it back across again.
Very nice.
That was a long day, and the fun thing about one other fun thing about it was that we were leaving town at around noon, and our bass player Tormod, which has a reputation of being a bit late, he's a bass player and he likes to sleep, and if he's not asleep, he back then it was probably because he was having a dinner with his mother or something. That was his excuses for being a bit late. But then he overslept, obviously.
Oh, that was the next time we played outside Bergen.
It was the same. No. Okay, it was one time before. Okay.
Sure.
We got the infamous Seven Impale constant. That is, whenever we're going to do something, one thing will definitely go straight to hell. And we always fix it. It always ends up fine. But yeah, the first time we drove around and took the ferry 2 times, and the second time our bass player overslept and he had to take the boat all by himself. The first time we played in Oslo, we realized that, oh my god, there's a Roger Waters concert. So actually all the hotels in all of Oslo are fully booked.
Wow.
We got no place to sleep, and we're totally fucked. We at a pizza place an hour before we're going to go on stage, and randomly we got hold of a guy we know who randomly could have all of us sleeping in his living room. So we're always lucky, and it always ends up fine, but something has to go to hell every time.
Well, glad you guys made it through okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything that's left that you would like to say to to our readers or our listeners?
Well, I don't know. It's always fun to get our music out to new people. So of course, every time we get chance to speak to new people, you by the way, and other magazines and stuff, interviews. It's always really fun because. Meeting new people somehow, or if it's just by email, writing stuff, or via Skype, via concerts, it's great fun to meet new people somehow,
we love playing music and we love talking about music, and it's both for our sake and for whoever wants to listen to it. So, we hope that people will follow us and see what we're up to, and just if anyone wants to ask about something, it's just
feel free.
Very cool. Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate your time and for chatting with me and everything.
Thank you.
we're really impressed with your music. Your last album was fantastic. Love the EP also. So, all right. Well, thank you guys. Have a good night.
Have a good night, you too.
Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.
Bye.